Good morning, everyone. As Juliet said, I'm Alessandro. I'm from Leeds University Business School, and today I'm giving you this snapshot on the project. I kept it very short because it's like the full report is going at some point out, and it's like around 20 pages. You will understand why it's quite complex to talk in 5 minutes. So, first and foremost, I want to use this occasion also to present you the team and thank them. Together with me was the Gulbanu from Leeds University Business School, Luca was here from the School of Engineering, Claire from Leeds City Council that we work very closely with, and two research assistants, Brett and George, will cover two different areas of the project. It's been a great pleasure to work with the Leeds City Council. It was also like a good way of reflecting on certain things that we thought were going one way, but then we ended up going the other way. So, what's the project about? It was about upcycled food. Upcycled food, I didn't put the slide, but I'm going to explain very quickly, are all the foods created by the use of byproducts, or food that got rejected from for example, the retailers because of imperfection, because of partially rotten, but they still removed, like the parts that are not good, perfectly edible, perfectly usable for human consumption. And it goes, as I said, from discarded fruits until the use of very useful materials, like, for example, spent grain from the brewing industry to create something else, some other food. So the idea was to use waste to basically create like an upgraded product that could be appealing and used for human consumption. So what we did, of course, because it was a policy support fund, we looked at the state of the art of the existing and proposed policies that are related to upcycled food. Of course, upcycled food is not, first of all, it's one term to indicate this type of foods, but there are other terms, and it's not something that has been necessarily legiferated about. So we went tangentially, we looked at proxies, we looked at policies around food waste, food production, use of byproducts, and so on and so forth. And what we wanted to do is try to create like an evidence-based report, which we're going to release, around best practices. So what is in the current legislation that we can use to basically avoid food waste and reuse this food waste in a certain way. But also, we wanted to collaborate with companies because, of course, food production is very important. It also can generate growth for a local economy and the national economy. So we created a database of companies at local, national level that are either already doing upcycled food or they are producing food in the Leeds region, West Yorkshire region especially. And actually there were quite a few of them that already produce upcycled food in a certain way, other as an ingredient of fully made products. And of course, we try to put everything around the table at a workshop which we organized on the 20th of June. So the policy review, quickly, Brett was our research assistant, looked at all the relevant policies by using database like legislation.gov.uk, using a very wide set of keywords, and we identified a corpus of around 80 policies that could be interesting for our research, both at the national level, but also the ones from European Union, European Commission that have not been repealed as yet as part of the exit of the United Kingdom from the European Union. Also, we looked at other websites from the specific departments like DEFRA or BASE by looking at specific proposed policies. And also, what we did, we tried to put these policies around, the review of these policies around this food waste hierarchy, the model that was released by DEFRA in 2021. And here it is. So, for those of you that are not familiar, the food waste hierarchy goes from prevention to disposal. Of course, the top part is the one that should be the best practice, and as long as you go down, it's worse. And basically, what the first interesting result is that the first part of the model, the one that is about prevention, these policies are not mandatory. They're just suggested to companies, but they're not mandatory, which is something unusual if you think about, because it's something that you can actually use this particular stage to create food. And this is an example. This, for example, is one of the first layer, the production. So there are policies that if they used, for example, the Agriculture Act gives the opportunity to gather data around the food that has been produced but not used. it would be able to create like a database of who has what and how this can be reused. So how producer can contact other companies to basically use this food and reuse discarded food. And this last slide, what we did like 3 weeks ago with this great workshop. Polly was there to open the workshop, thanks again. And we discussed with the policymakers, with like groups of discussion with policymakers, with companies, and we had quite a lot of insights to how to move forward for a roadmap to be able to cooperate with university, policymakers and businesses around the theme of upcycled food and growth. And that's it from me. Thank you.